Don't ever collect her tears.
Don't ever collect her tears. That was the only warning Lila got the night everything changed. She didn't know what it meant. She just stood there, confused, holding the lash pad in her hand, but from that moment, nothing in her life remained normal again. Lila was a young lash artist who had spent months struggling to make ends meet. She had a small space with peeling paint, a plastic fan, and one lash bed that shook when clients turned. She had no savings, no fancy clients, and no real future in sight. She often worked late, hoping that someone would walk in and change her life. And one evening, that someone did. A woman she had never seen before entered her studio wearing all white. She didn't talk much, just gave a quiet smile and booked the most expensive lash set. Lila was surprised but tried to act normal. The woman's face was calm, but her eyes never left Lila's hands while she worked. When the session ended, she paid 10 times the normal price and left without saying her name. That night, Lila couldn't sleep. She kept counting the money, asking herself if it was real. The next day, the woman came back again. And again the day after that. Each time, she tipped even more. Then she started bringing other rich women with her, people who didn't bargain, didn't complain, just paid. Soon, Lila was booked out every day. She upgraded everything: new bed, new lights, new signboard, air conditioning. The woman even covered 3 months' rent. Lila felt like her life was finally changing. Then one night, everything shifted. The woman showed up late, wearing black this time. She didn't sit like a client. She sat like someone waiting to give instructions. She handed Lila a small glass bottle and said, "From now on, every time your clients cry, you will collect the tears with the lash pad and put them here. Don't let a drop waste." Lila laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But the woman's face didn't move. Her eyes were cold. "This is how you pay me back," she said. "You've taken enough. Now, I take mine." Lila refused. She said she didn't understand. She said she didn't want to do anything strange. But the woman only smiled and walked out, leaving the bottle on the lash bed. That night, the power in her studio went off. Her bookings vanished the next day. People who were once eager to come didn't show up. She lost everything she had gained. A week later, the woman returned, calm as always. "You can either go back to the life you begged to escape," she said softly, "or you can give me what I need. It's just tears. They won't even notice." Lila was shaking. She didn't want to lose everything. She had tasted what success felt like. And so the next time a client cried on her bed, Lila quietly collected the tear pad, squeezed it into the bottle, and sealed it. Just one. She told herself it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. That same night, her bookings came back. Clients started calling again. The power returned. Money flowed like before. Then it got easier. More clients cried. Lila collected more tears. She stopped feeling guilty. It became part of her work, part of the routine. Every few days, the woman came back for the bottle, always dressed in white or black, always calm, always smiling. She would take the bottle and leave behind thick envelopes of money. Lila stopped asking questions. But soon, she started hearing things. It began with whispers around the lash bed after everyone left. Then the mirror in her studio began to fog even when there was no steam. Sometimes the parts inside the drawer moved like something was inside them. And every time she wanted to stop, the woman would appear without being called, standing at the door like a shadow. Months passed. Lila wasn't the same anymore. She wore nice clothes, spoke like the rich women she once admired, and made more money than she ever dreamed. But her eyes lost their light. She couldn't sleep. The whispers followed her home. The faces of some clients appeared in her mirror at night, crying silently. One night, the woman came again with a black envelope. But this time, there was a list of names inside, people Lila didn't know. These are not clients, the woman said. But their pain is mine too. You will find a way? Lila didn't argue. She didn't even think. She started offering free lash sessions, setting up appointments with strangers, collecting more tears than ever before. But something in her clients began to change. Their eyes looked empty after each session. Some didn't talk for days. One fainted outside the studio. One didn't come back home at all. The woman grew more powerful with every bottle Lila handed over. And Lila, she grew emptier. Her reflection in the mirror no longer felt like her own. Her hands moved like someone else was controlling them. She wanted to stop, but she had gone too far. Then one night, the woman walked in carrying a new black lash bed and a golden bottle. She placed it gently on the counter. Tonight, she said, the tears will be yours. Lila stared at her, confused. The woman handed her a clean white pad. You served me well. Now, your pain belongs to me too. Lila stepped back. She tried to run, but the door locked on its own. The lights flickered. The mirror cracked from the inside. Whispers filled the room, louder than ever. She dropped the pad and screamed, but no one heard her. The woman stepped closer, smiling. In that moment, Lila realized something she had ignored for too long. All the gifts, all the money, all the help, none of it was free. She wasn't just collecting tears. She had been feeding something. And now, that thing had come for her. The woman reached out her hand, cold and firm, and touched Lila's face. A single tear fell. It slid down slowly, landing on the white pad the woman had placed on the bed. The whispering stopped. The mirror went dark. The next morning, the studio opened like nothing happened. A new girl stood behind the lash bed, smiling at customers. The golden bottle sat quietly on the shelf. Lila's name was gone from the signboard. But the whispers were still there, waiting for the next tear to fall. Lila didn't simply disappear. The moment the woman touched her face and collected her tear, Lila became part of the same system she had been feeding. That night, she didn't die in the way people die. She was absorbed into whatever power the woman served, trapped inside the mirror that had been cracking slowly for months. That's why the whispers kept coming. They weren't random. They were the voices of everyone who had lost a piece of themselves to those bottles, including Lila now. The new girl didn't just show up by chance. She was the next chosen worker, the next desperate lash artist who was about to make the same kind of deal without understanding what it really meant. Just like Lila once did. The woman always replaced her collectors once they were used up. That's why the studio stayed open. It wasn't just a business anymore. It was a feeding ground. As for the customers, they never realized their tears were being taken because nothing about the lash sessions looked strange. The woman's power made everything appear normal. The tears fell naturally. People cried during the process not because of pain from the lashes, but because the mirror in the studio carried something dark that stirred their deepest emotions, heartbreak, grief, regret, memories they didn't even know they still had. The closer they sat under that light, the more something inside them cracked open, and they couldn't help but cry. That's also why some of them began to change afterward, because those tears weren't ordinary. They held pieces of their emotions, their strength, their will. And every drop they gave made the woman stronger. So in the end, Lila was no longer among the living in the normal sense. She became one of the whispering voices trapped in the studio. The woman simply moved on to the next girl, keeping the business going like nothing happened. The customers never really saw the truth, they were too busy crying for reasons they didn't even understand. If this story touched your heart, don't just scroll away, take a second to show some love back. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story. Your support means a lot, and it helps us share more powerful stories just like this one.